Hi and welcome student to this new tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to build backend authentication system with the help of Node.js, JWT, bcrypt and too much. Let's come to the folder and here create a folder with the name of Auth, and in this Auth I'm going to open Studio. Here I'm going to zoom it a little bit, and here I'm going to open the integrated terminal of the Visual Studio. As I open it, now here I'm going to initialize the Node.js project. How we are going to initialize the Node.js project? You will have to write npm init. What happened? Npm init, and it will ask you few questions and you will have to answer with yes. Let's wait. Okay. Now here I initialize the Node.js project. Here you can see I found the file of package.json, which is the configuration file of the application. So here you can see the name auth and the version for this is 1.0 and the main file of this must be index. Now I can change it with I am going to use server.js. So here you can see now I make it server.js. You will have to create this file here server.js. So here you can start coding. Now let me install some packages. npm I express mongoose. Express is the Node.js framework which help us in building the backend, and mongoose is the library package which help us to connect with MongoDB and create schemas and model with ease. And the other is bcrypt.js which help us in hashing the passwords, and the other is JSON Web Token. Actually JSON Web Token is the main player in this scenario. So let's install these packages. So here I'm going to implement the MVC architecture. First I'm going to create the model folders, then I'm going to create the folder of controllers, and then I'm going to create the folder of routes. I will have to grab it outside of the folder. Okay, now it is good. So let me initialize the server. How we can initialize the server? First I will have to convert it into ES6. So here I will have to use the type feature with module. Now it is good. Now let me import Express. First I will have to import Express for initialize the server from Express. Okay, now I'm going to install another package which is called .env, which help us in securing the private keys, etc. Now we have to create an instance for this. Okay, now let me test it with the help of one dummy path. It is get request actually, request and response. Now let return something from this. Hello world. I think the spelling is wrong. Okay, now it's good. And before using this arrays.json, you will have to use one middleware which is called Express.json. Without this we can read the data of JSON. So you will have to do in this way. Now let's listen to a server const port is equal to process .env.port r3000. Now let's listen to this server app.listen. Now it take two arguments. The first is port and the second is callback. Now let me call and the console here in backticks. Server is listening running on port this. Now let's create a file with the name of env.env. Now let me create this variable with the 5000. Okay, where is it? Here you can see port 5000. Now let me run the server. So I will have to write here npx nodemon, as I have already installed it globally. If you have not, then you will have to write here npmi nodemon -g, then it will install globally on your PC. So let me run the server. Here you can see the server is now running on port 3000. I think I have not configured the .env file. So how I can? You will have to import .env. I think now it should to work. Yes, you can see here it is now running on port 5000. Now I will have to create here a util folder where I will have to keep my helper functions utils, and here I'm going to create a function with the name of db connection .js. So here I'm going to create a MongoDB Atlas connection. So let me search MongoDB. Here I'm going to sign in. It is now signing to the MongoDB, so be patient. Now here you will have to click on this thing and you will have to next new project. After clicking this next project, it will ask you a few questions. For example, the project name. Now I'm here creating Auth Node.js, and here I'm going to click the next, and yes, I'm the owner. Now here you will have to click the create. Now you will have to choose the free one, and after this you will have to name it something. For example, I'm going to name it Node, Auth Node, and the AWS is good, I think. Create deployment server. Here you will have to keep this password safe. I'm choosing something. Don't use my password, I'm changing it later. After creating the project, you will have to click here the create database, and here you will have to choose the connection method. So here you will have to choose the drivers, and here it will generate the URL, but you will have to wait for some while. Let me create model before. So here I'm going to create the user.model.js. Let me spell it. I think it is now correct. So here before I will have to import the mongoose from mongoose. Now I'm going to create the model of user. So const user schema, and this should to be new mongoose schema. First I'm expecting name from the user, and its type must be string, and it is required field. Required should to be true. Here I'm going to create email field. The email type should to be string, and the required is true, and also let trim and trim true and unique true, so that no one will be able to use this email again if you make it unique. And trim will clear the white spaces. So here I'm going to add another field of password. Okay, let me clear one curly brace. So it is also type of string, required true, and select false. So whenever you are retrieving the user from the database, so the password will be not with the user. So because I'm going to select it false for security purpose, so I think it is enough. You can also give it phone, etc., role, everything, but let it for this time. Now you will have to create the model. Const user equal to mongoose dot model, and here you will have to name it what you want, and here you will have to pass the user schema which I have created this. So now the user schema is created. Now let me see whether it is created or not. Let me click done. Okay, go to connection string. Okay, now I will have to create a function for this. Now let's go to utils, and here I have db connection. So let me create a function for this. First I will have to import the mongoose, because mongoose help us in connection. So here I will have to create a synchronous function because we are talking to another continent, as Hitesh sir has said that db is always in another content. So let me create a try catch block here, and let as we are talking to another content, so we'll have to await for this. Now mongoose.connect, and we have one process dot env dot mongo URI. If it connected, then we will have to console.log db connected, and if it throws an error, then we will have to console the error. Now let's create this variable in the mongo URL or URI, I forgot. It's actually a URI. Let me URI, and let's paste it here. Now I will have to pass my password, as my password was Kamran 12345. Don't use my, you will have to. Okay, now let's come to db connection, as I have not exported this function yet, so I will have to export this. Export async function. Now let's come here to the server file, and here you will have to import this function, import db connection, and here you will have to call this function. I called the function. I don't know what I got here is an error for me. Okay, here I will have to pass the .js, as I'm working in ES6. So now you can see that the DB is connected. Now as I have created the model, and already the DB is connected, so here I will have to go to the controller. Before going to controller, I have to create a route for this. So let me create a route, user.route.js, and let me decrease it little bit. So here I will have to import the router object from the Express, and here I will have to create an instance for this. Const router is equal to router, and here I will have to create a route with the URL of post, and this must be /register, and it will take an argument, but before taking it, let me export it default, export default, and the router. Now let's come to the server file, and here I will have to import this, as it is the main file of our app. So here I'm going to import the user router from this folder. Let me address it. Yes, it is okay. Now here I will have to manage it well. So it is middleware parts. Okay, it is route part. Let me clear this one, and here create app.use, and here let me use the user and user router. So it's good. Now let me go to this controller part, and here I'm going to create a file with the name of user.controller controller.js controllers. Okay, now let me before creating the controller, I will have to import the schema or model from the user model. So let me user Okay, I think what user model. Okay, I have not exported it, I think. Let me export it. Yes, I will have to export it. Export default user. Now let's come here and import user. Here you can see, now here you will have to pass the .js. Either if you don't use here the .js, then it will throw an error. So let me create export const register a user, which is an asynchronous function as we are talking to another content. So here you will have to wrap the code in the try catch block. Okay, first what we are expecting in the model, here you can see we are expecting name, email and a password, and these are all from the body. So here you come and you will have to pass in this way. Either you can pass it a const user is equal to request.body, or also you can destructure this body. How we can do this? You will have to simply const name, email, password is equal to request.body. Now we will throw error if we have not get any value in this. For example, if we don't get name, then we will have to throw error. If we don't get the email, then and if we don't get the password, then we will have to throw an error to the user. So how we can do this? Here you will have to conditional rendering name. If we have not the name or not email or not the password. If you don't want to do in this way, then you can also go with this. If not name, then throw error, but it will take more time. So for this reason I'm going to make it short, not email and not password. If we have done this field, then we have to return a response dot JSON. First let me give status of 400 and JSON. Now here I'm going to pass the success to false, message all fields are required. First checking done. Now if we have already the user present, then how we can do this? So come const existing user. I think I spelled it wrong, no matter, but still let await as we are talking to the user. Here you will have to find one method, and we are searching the user with the help of email. Then you will have to check if user is already exist. If existing user mean if we have the existing user, we found the user in the database, so we will have to return a response .json message. Now first let me success to false, consistency is the key, false, message user is already exist. Okay, now if it happens, then we will have to create the user. Before creating the user, we will have to ensure that we have hashed the password. Import bcrypt from bcrypt.js. Now let's see what we are doing. So let's hash the password. Let hash, or if you go with const, it's no matter, but still let hash password. Await bcrypt that hash. The password and the salt for this to 10. It taking two argument, one is password and the other is salts. So how rounds of salt you want? Here you will have to pass either 12 or 10. Don't pass more than this. So here I'm going to create now the user. Const user is equal to await user dot create. Now here you will have to pass the success true, the message user created successfully, and here you will have to pass the I think I am doing wrong thing here. It should not be passed here. Name, email, and password to be hash password. I don't know why it's getting name is not. Couldn't find name. Okay, now it's good. Now if the user created, if not user, if user doesn't create, then you will have to return an error. Erase the status of 400.json. It will go to success to false and message user not created, and if created then we will have to return erase dot status of 200.01 as we have created JSON, and here let me pass the success to true, message user created successfully and the user also. Now let me also console the error if we got an error and return a response from this also. Status of 500 as it is internal server error, so let me JSON and also success should to be false, message internal server error. Now let me test this with the help of this extension of Chrome, which is Postman. Now here I'm going to do a new request. So here I will have to pass the HTTP, but before doing this make sure that you have passed this to the route. Here you will have to come and make sure register user. It is important. Now here you will have to pass the .js extension. Now again come to this HTTP. Here I'm going to pass the / 5000. Yes, it is 5000. Let me go to user, and here I'm going to register it. I think the spelling is wrong. Register. Now what we will have to go to the body, and in the body we are going to go to raw, and in this raw here you will have to select the JSON. Now here open the object. Here you will have to pass the name, and the name I'm going to pass let Kamran Khan. Let me pass the email gmail.com, and let me pass password. Let's keep it simple, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now let's see what we are getting in this. Open to error. Okay, as it is post request, so I'm sorry. Okay, now here you can see success true, message user created, and the data, the user which I have passed. Here you can see name and everything I have created. But if I try again with this credential, let's see. Here you can see success is false and user already exists. Okay, now here I will have to tell the step what I have done so far. First I request user information from the body. Second, I check whether the user info each field is present or not. Third, I checked whether the user already exists or not. Fourth, I hash the password. Fifth, I create the user. So I take these 5 steps to create to register a user. How simple was this? First, I request the user information from the body with the help of request.body and destructure the body object, and then I checked the user info whether each field of the user is present or not. Third, I checked the user is already exist or not. And the fourth, I hashed the password. And fifth, I created the user with the help of create function of Mongoose. So this was all about registering. Now let's come to the controller this part. Now let it is done. So do this, and it was for registering. Here you will have to registering user. Now we are going to logging the user. How we can export const login user. Let me maintain the consistency. Here you will have to pass the asynchronous function, as we are going to request the database, so you will have to pass the try catch block. Now here, what will the steps I will have? You can see it is saying me that first you will have to request the credentials from the body, as it is email and password. Then the second step is to check whether this is present or not, email or password. If one of these field is missing, let me show you with the help of this. If I do not make this, then let's see what I am getting. Okay, let's see. Okay, this thing is erroring so far. Here you can see all fields are required, as we have missed the field of password because of this. So let's go to the user controller again and return raise the status of 400, and in message I'm going to pass success should to be false, message all fields are required. Okay, now let's come here and const existing user again, like before. I have misspelled. Existing user is equal to await user dot find one with the help of email. This time we are going if not existing user. We will have to throw an error. Return raise dot status of 400 and JSON. The success should to be false, and the message user not found. Okay, and after this, we will, if we found the user, then we will have to compare the password. So const compare password. Now let's see. Here you will have to compare the password. Await bcrypt has another function. Okay, bcrypt, and it has a function of compare. So here you can see the compare, and it takes 2 arguments. First is the password which we are checking, and second is the password which this existing user holding. So before, you will have to select the password, as we have made it false. So here you can see it will give me the suggestion plus password, and here you will have to pass the existing user dot password. Okay, how easy this is. Now it's done. If it doesn't compare the password, if compare password fail, then I will have to throw error. Return raise dot status of 400, and in JSON format I'm going to pass the message success to false and incorrect password or invalid credential. It is invalid credential. Okay, now it's done. Let me import the token bcrypt. Okay, this time I'm going to JWT. I'm going to show, yes, I have installed it. So now if the password is compared successfully, now here I'm going to create a token. Const token is equal to await, sorry, JWT that sign method, and in this sign method you will have to pass some arguments, like first is the payload. So here I'm going to pass the ID, and this ID must be the existing user dot ID underscore ID. And the second thing is the secret. So here I'm going to create a secret for this JWT secret, sorry, this should to be some dummy. Let me write some dummy text here. Now I will have to copy this thing, come to the user file controller, and here I will have to process this. Okay, process.env dot, yes, and here I'm going to pass an object. In this object takes the expires in, and this should to be 1 day, so the token will expire in 1 day. So let me, if token, if not token, if token doesn't create it, we should to render if on each and every step. Okay, token not created. Okay, and here I'm going to return a response if everything was good. But before returning the response, I will have to send the token in cookies. How I will do this? Cookies, and here I'm going to pass the token, and the token value will be this token. Okay, let me see, and HTTP only, yes, it's good, I think. Now let's return this. Return res.status of 200.json. Now here you will have to write the success is equal to true, and the message is user, okay, user logged in, and the user existing user, sorry, and also to the token. Now let's check it whether it's working or not. What is happened to this one? Let's come to this, and this time I'm going to logging this user with the help of these credentials. Let me clear this. Now let me check whether the all fields are required or working or not. So here you can see. So first I will have to use this in the routes. So here I'm going to create another router dot post method. Okay, misspelled. Router dot post. This time you should to go login, and here you will have to pass the login user as it is imported from the user controller. So here you can, here now you will have to watch what is happening. All fields are required. If I pass the password, now let's see what is happening. Okay, now I will have to install another package. Let me open the terminal. npm I cookie parser for reading the cookies. So let's go to the package server.js file, and here I will have to use the app.use cookie parser in this way. Now let's see, npm run dev. I think I made something, npm run dev. npx node man, sorry. It's running. Now let's go again to the here. I don't know why it is taking too much time. Let me see why. Go to the user controller. What can be the reason? What I'm getting, let me console this token. I got it, but I don't getting the response. I think I have written something wrong here. Return is right, raise.status. Okay, here I'll have to see return raise.status of 200 JSON. Then why it is not working? Let me do this. Oh my god, I think this is cookie, not cookies. Let's see this time. Okay, so the cookie was spelled wrong, so due to this reason it was not working. Here you can see now it is created login successfully. Here you can see that token is now here and everything is here now. It was the login in Express.js MongoDB. So let's now create the middleware for this. So how we are creating the middleware? Let me first create a folder. So here I will have to create a folder with the name of middlewares. So here I am created the file with the name of auth.middleware.js, and here I will have to import the JWT from JSON web token. Now let me create a function async export. Why I'm writing bad today? Export async function auth middle where, and it is taking 3 arguments as request, response and the next. And here I'm going to try catch. So first I will have to grab the token from the cookies. Const token is equal to request dot cookies dot token. Okay, if not token, then I'm going to return an error to this. What kind of error? Return res.status of 400.json success to false, and message invalid user credential. Let me unauthorized user, sorry, unauthorized user, and here the status should to be 401. Okay, if I found the token, then I will have to decode this token, decode. So we have a JWT.verify method. Here you will have to pass the token, so the token, and the second thing is the secret, so process dot env at JWT secret. Okay, if not decoded, if not decode. So here I will have to pass res dot status of 401 dot json, and here I'm going to pass a success is false, and the message is unauthorized user. So if it succeeds, then I will have to const request.user is equal to decode. Okay, now it is, I think, good now. Why it's throwing error? I don't know what is the reason here. Let me check if I'm not wrong. Storing data in the request object during, let me see, during middleware. Let me search for this. Okay, I will have not to do in this way. Don't use the const. Now it is good. And if it happened, now let me call the next function, and here I will have to console the error user, and also return a response to this. Return res dot status of 401 dot json, success should to be false, and message unauthorized user. Okay, now let implement it on the route. Here I will have to create a me route, const, okay, export async function, profile, user profile, profile, and here I will have to pass the two objects, request and response. Here I will have to use the try catch block, and let me pass here the user. Okay, here I'm going to delete this one. So const user is await user dot find one, which id is equal to request dot user dot id. I think this should be in this way. If not, user return data status of 404 dot json. Here I will have to pass the success is false, and the message is user does not exist. Okay, now if everything was okay, then I will have to return as the status of 200.json. In this JSON I'm going to pass the success to true, and the message user profile and the user, and here if it falls error, then I will have to pass the error object and return a response with status of 500, and it should to be 500, and in JSON the success should to be false, and the message should say that internal server error. Okay, now let's check this, but before using, let's come here and use this route here, router dot get, as it is get method. So here profile, and use the get user, what I had named it. Let's come to the controller and check export async user profile. Okay, come to the route, and here you will have to get user profile, I think. Okay, now here you will have to pass the middleware, auth middleware. Yes, it's okay now. Now let's go to utils. So where is here? Now let's check. Here I'm going to have a new request. So http/localhost without /no user, and here I'm going to use the profile route this time. Now let request, as it is get request. So here it giving us the user. Okay, how it is possible? Okay, we have already this token in this cookies. Because of this I'm getting this token. So how I can delete this? Let me create a route for deleting the logging out. So I will show you. Const logged out user is equal to asynchronous request response. Okay, try catch. Here I'm going to first const token is equal to request dot cookies dot token, and if token, if we got the token, then res dot cookie, the token should to be empty. Okay, and return a response. Status 200.json, and here you will have to pass the success as true message. User logged out successfully, and if it throws an error, then you will have to console the error and return a response with 500 and in the form of JSON, and here you will have to pass the success as false and the message is internal server error. Okay, now let's use it here in the user router, and here router dot get slash logout route and pass as auth middleware here, and also here I'm going to proceed it further with the user. What was name for this user? Logout, I think. I don't know what I had named it. Logout user. Okay, due to inconsistency it is happening. Logged in user why it is not importing this one? Logged out, sorry, logged out. Import it in the form of this. Paste it here. Let import it. Let import it manually. Here it is L. Now let's check. Log out user. Why it's still not working? Now let's check whether I am exporting it or not. So here I'll have to export it. Okay, now I think it is good. Now let's go to user route. Yes. Let's go to logout. Let's check. I got the status. User log out successfully, but here the okay. Now let's check. If I go to profile again, here you can see I have 401 unauthorized, and if I show you here, you can see unauthorized user with the success false. If I log in again, log in and go to body and pass the user credential in the raw format, and here I will have to choose the JSON. Let me pass the credential of email as kamran@gmail.com, I think, and the password was 3456. So let me make it post request, and here I'm going to post it. Here you can see now it is logged in, and if I show you the cookies, now here I have the value of token. Let me show you this token, and it has value. And if I go to profile, now here you can see, okay, I will have to make it get. Now let's go to the body, and here I will have to show you. Here you can see now I have got the data, and the password is not included. So it was all about authentication in pure backend, pure Express Mongoose. So if you like the video, I will bring the other part of this where I will have role based authentication with front end. So keep me in your prayer, and goodbye.